and I told them what I was going through. And afterwards, several people, mostly women, came up to me afterwards and shared their battle with chronic pain. I can't tell you how much this has cracked me open. It has cracked me open to realize that there are other people out there suffering with chronic pain and how challenging it is. I always speak of, oh, it's about staying focused, it's about being present, it's about practicing your craft. But pain is another whole matter, isn't it? When something is shooting through you with pain, it's very much harder to stay present.
Welcome to the Spiritual Artist Podcast. This is Chris Miller. I invite you to join me as I interview artists from a variety of disciplines. We'll share powerful stories and lessons learned while making their art.
Good day, spiritual artists. This is CJ Miller, the host of the Spiritual Artist Podcast. I wanted to check in with you one last time, kind of ending 2025, let you know what's going on in my life, and sharing some thoughts and some ideas, and then kind of teasing you a little bit for spring. But let me tell you a couple things first. Um, I have been raised to always be pleasing. So this was a particularly tough year for me, and I have learned something that I want to share with you. I have learned to let myself show really where I'm at a little bit more instead of always being friendly, warm, and happy. And maybe not so much friendly, because I'm always friendly, but happy. It's been a rough year, and I want to share some things with you. First, let me talk about some of the good things that have happened this year. I have had so many classes, successful classes. I had 3 art workshops in Santa Fe. One was a spiritual retreat in May, and it was wonderful with a bunch of wonderful people. And then I went back in July, and I also had a class recently in October at the community college in Santa Fe. Each one was wonderful. Each one was fantastic. I also taught several times here in Dallas, whether a program at Church of One Love in the spring. I've had a recent workshop that ran for 5 weeks. I'm about to go this Wednesday to a retreat, all which leads me to what was such a kind of a slam in the wall, right? This was a slam in the wall year. I had planned all these wonderful things. I spoke at several groups. I've spoken to several art groups recently. I spoke at the Art League of Louisville, and it was successful. I had 40 people there. But you know what? Boy, it was hard. It was really challenging, and I want to share that with you. If you've been listening to my podcasts, I love to interview thought leaders and artists. And you will have heard probably where I gently reference that I've been having some physical issues. And in my pleasing, friendly mode, I don't really open up a lot about how bad those physical issues were. So this was a big step for me this year. And I'll tell you what, I did it at a workshop. I started realizing that it was really hard for me to stay focused and stay present when I was battling chronic pain. And so at one workshop this year, I opened up to my class and I told them, I did. I told them. And I even spoke on stage at Unity Church of Dallas, and I told them gently that I had some chronic pain. But at this class, I decided to open up and share with them how bad it was. I'm not sure what it is. I've gone through so many doctors. I have more medicine up on my cabinet this year than in my entire life. If you know me, you know Chris, little CJ, he's a minimalist. I don't even like to take aspirin. I am a believer that the body should stay pure. I try to eat right. I try to work out. I've been going to yoga for years. But it was a really tough year to find out that despite all that, I am physical. I'm in a physical body, and issues do happen. And I started having pain in my groin, shooting pain in my groin. So I don't know if I'll be as clear and as I was with my recent urologist, but shooting pain in my groin and in all of my sexual organs. That's pretty clear, right? Not fun, but chronically, like ongoing, every morning, every night. I never had anything that was chronic before. I never had anything, and I don't even like to use the word chronic, so let's use it lightly. I'll say that is so far appearing as chronic. It started in the spring at my first retreat, and it has lasted all year long. It doesn't go away. I wake up, I go to bed, there's a pain. Sometimes it's a little softer, Sometimes it spreads all the way down my legs. So I have gone to so many different doctors and tried so many different things. But what I want to share with you, the listener, is when you're in that kind of pain, obviously, you try everything. You try everything, every exercise, every physical therapy. You try, and I have. I've tried everything. Some are working better than others. I tried so many different medications that had opposite results that either made me exhausted or anxious. I think I finally rested on a medication, but I want to tell you that something that happened at the recent workshop that was so wonderful is I opened up to the class and I told them what I was going through. And afterwards, several people, mostly women, came up to me afterwards and shared their battle with chronic pain. I can't tell you how much this has cracked me open. It has cracked me open to realize that there are other people out there suffering with chronic pain and how challenging it is. I always speak of, oh, it's about staying focused, it's about being present, it's about practicing your craft. But pain is another whole matter, isn't it? When something is shooting through you with pain, it's very much harder to stay present. But these women came up to me after class and they shared their experience. They shared their techniques. Some of them have used massage. Some of them have used somatic treatments. One woman uses rolfing, which I tried and I'm still doing. One woman told me of a new medication to try, and I am trying it right now. And I'll be honest with you, it's working. I'm trying a medication called Lyrica. It's for nerve pain, which is primarily what I'm dealing with. I recently went to my urologist and he confided in me that he is also having some chronic pain, started in his lower back, which I found out through an MRI is in my pelvic area. I've had a ruptured disc, which maybe started all this. Maybe. And he came into the office and he said, "Oh, he said, this pain is bad. It is so bad." And I said, "Picture it being in your groin," because his is down his leg. And he had such sympathy. So what I wanted to share with you, the listeners, is not to make this a whining thing because I had that beat out of me actually as a child, never to talk about my own issues. This is really hard for me. But what I realized is that when people open up, when I was willing to open up, other people opened up. And the gift in it was this connection with others, this connection and empathy that I now have for everybody that I deal with. A newfound empathy that I don't know if I had in January, an understanding that sometimes we have challenges in our life that aren't easily remedied. They're not a quick prayer away. It's not a quick pill away. It's not an exercise routine. It takes a long, committed effort, and that's what I'm doing. So right now, I'm doing so every other week massage therapy. I'm taking this new Lyrica medication. Doing certain breath techniques. If you listen to my interview with Jonathan Schechter recently, I am taking some classes with him, teaching me how to calm anxiety. Because when you're up in front of people, when you're teaching a class and you have pain at the same time, right? I mean, I never thought I'd have to deal with that. I never thought I'd have to deal with that. But to stay present, you need to calm down. And he is teaching me circular breathing. He's teaching me in and out breath, all sorts of techniques. My yoga instructor recently taught me some new techniques where you say a mantra when you breathe in and breathe out. All of this is which to tell you I have read so many books this year, and I want to share something with you recently that helps me. It's interesting. So I purchased this book in Santa Fe this summer. It's Mark Nepo, The Book of Awakening. And what he does is he gives you a daily reading, just like my book, The Spiritual Parable. What I didn't realize, and this is the synchronicity of creative intelligence, I didn't realize how spirit always brings you what you need when you need it. I didn't realize that Mark suffered uh, cancer. He struggled with cancer for many years. And so this book is how he processed it, how he walked through that process of the fear of something maybe growing worse, the living with pain. And so I want to read his reading to you. Hopefully this will inspire you. If you're one of those listeners out there, if you're one of those listeners out there that is struggling with chronic pain, I want you to know that I'm here for you. And when women opened up in my class and then some men, I've realized that even at this workshop that I approach this coming week, is that I need to create an environment where we feel free to talk and open up about our issues, because there are so many issues that we need to share. But when we share them with others, it gets just a little bit lighter. Do you hear me? That burden gets just a little bit lighter. So let me read today's reading by Mark. I think you're going to really like it. So, this is how he starts. Dying into now. 3 years from my surgeries, I am taking a shower, and there, on my head, along the scar, is the beginning of a pimple. What if this is another tumor? I thought. What if it's spreading? As the water pelts me, my fear runs wild. I can see myself in the doctor's office, undressing for surgery, walking the halls in recovery, lying down for chemo, getting weaker, dying, there and back in 30 seconds. My heart is pounding, naked in the shower. I so want to live. I am so awake, finally at peace. But what if this is true? What shall I do? Where shall I go? But in this moment, the shower rinses over, and I come home. If this is true, if I am to die soon, I know what I will do. I sigh more deeply than I ever thought possible. I will finish my shower. In that moment, I learned that everything is right where we are. I want to repeat that. In that moment, I learned that everything is right where we are, no matter our pain or distress. All of life is in whatever moment we wake to. All of life is in whatever moment we wake to. I could clearly see and feel how our fear of death makes us run, though there's nowhere to go. Yet mysteriously, I learned that there's a ring of peace at the center of every fear, if only we get to it. Every time I shower now, I try to remember that we cannot live fully until we first accept our eventual death. Otherwise, we will always be running to or running from. Only when we can accept that we are fragile guests on this earth, only then will we be at home wherever we are. Wow. I am so impressed with his vulnerability. I highly recommend this book. If you have chronic pain, if you want to walk through it, it's called The Book of Awakening. But there is something to be said about that. That's something that I've processed. I've read some Buddhists. I've told you about Amoda May. I've read her book. It has some lovely mentions in there about being present even in the pain. Being present even in the pain. It's hard. We want to run into our mind. We want to run into fear. We want to run into a future or debate our past. And I will tell you, when you have something wrong and the doctors can't really figure it out, and what I'm landing on here with my own issue is that this is muscular tension. It's not something in the bones itself. It's not something that shows up on an MRI. It's not something that shows up clearly because it's fascia and tension. It's chronic tension, which I never thought I had, but I guess I do. And so it always leaves you with that guessing moment, right? Like, oh, what if this is it? What if this is it? Well, you know what? I think this year, I had to start realizing that at some point, yeah, I'm going to age out and die. It's happening. Things break, and I have to walk through it. Amoda tells me that this is a spiritual gift, that it gives me a moment to be open, to blossom like a flower, to be present. And I've learned in my classes when women open up and share with me some of their issues, and yeah, even a few men, um, that I am present for them. All I can do is serve as the witness. So I'm asking you to be present for the people in your life. Don't try to answer their challenges. Don't try to tell them how to figure it out. Just sit there and be the witness. Be the witness for them. Be willing to sit alongside them and listen to what they're going through. I can't tell you how wonderful it has been to have people come up to me and say, "Hey, I understand, Chris. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to struggle with chronic pain. I'm here if you ever need to talk." And that's what we are here for. We are here to walk each other home. Have you heard that phrase? We are here to walk each other home. That means that all I can do, I can make great paintings. It's been a successful year for paintings too. I can speak, I can lead retreats, but my number one goal when I'm on a retreat or in a class is to just be present to the person with me, to see spirit, to see God in them, to see them for who they are and witness it for them and say, yeah, life is challenging. No one, no one tells you this, right? We all think it's so pre-packaged, and especially here in the West, we think everything is safe. We hide death, we hide illness. We don't talk about it. We don't share as much as we should. And I'm speaking for myself. Maybe I learned not to share as much as I should. But when you open up to others and you say, I'm here for you, they will open up and share with you. And while I can't solve it, I've had people approach me with all sorts of issues. I can't solve it. I can't wave a magic wand on myself, let alone on them. But I can be present in love. I can be present with love. I can be present and express love toward them. So I ask you to think about that as you go into this holiday season. This will be my last podcast until the new year. So I ask you to think about how can you be present over the next 6 weeks with those in your life. And if your children are annoying you because they're not doing their chores, or your husband is working late or staying out with the boys, or if your wife isn't being what you want her to be, maybe you don't feel like she's cleaning the house, oh, whatever. Just be present for those in your life. That's what the holiday season is about. Hold spirit, hold that sense of love in your heart for them. That's all we can do. We are spirit expressed in a physical body. There are limitations and challenges in that body. Oh, here's another thing I want to share with you. I have had people tell me that, oh, if you only thought better, that wouldn't happen. Ugh, isn't that the worst thing? The worst thing I find about New Thought teachings, and I love New Thought teachings, is this idea that if we only thought more positively, if we were only better thinkers, or led a better lifestyle, or ate the right food, we wouldn't have this. I don't think that's true. If that were true, then animals, which tend to think positively most of the time, right? My dog is always happy. That dog is always happy. It still gets sick. It still has issues. We are on the physical plane. There's limitations to the physical plane. All we can do is affect how we approach that limitation. That's all we can do. Approach it with love, be present to it, breathe through it, which I'm reminded to do several times a day. I'm now doing meditation in the morning and at night, just a little, just 9 minutes in the morning, 9 minutes at night to get grounded. All that said and done, I want you to practice presence with those that you love in life, and realize that if someone doesn't empty the dishwasher or clean the house or spends money or whatever it is, show that you love them. Be there, love them, be present for them, because that's all that matters. So I want to give you a little teaser what's going to happen in the new year. I decided to do something with my new book. My new book is called Spiritual Parable as a Daily Practice. You can buy it for Christmas and start reading now. What it is, it's a story that you read every day to help you get grounded. You can wrap it into your meditation practice. You're sitting quietly in the morning. You can read this 2 or 3 page story and meditate on it and contemplate on it. But what I'd like to tell you is I'm going to do a 40-day doodle book club. I did it 2 years ago with my first book. So what I'm going to do, starting on January 4th, I'm going to load this up to YouTube where I read a chapter to you. I read a chapter to you. But what I want to tell you about was so neat. One of my interviews lately, she got my book and I was so impressed. Tina in Australia, she purchased my book and she actually drew. She told me she was drawing pictures toward every story. And I thought, oh, I love this. I love this idea. I'd love to have so many of the people. I have had so many wonderful people on this podcast. Over the holidays, since I'm not going to be publishing anything for the next 6 weeks, go back and listen to some of these incredible interviews with artists and new thought leaders. Oh my gosh, you'll hear about breath work. You'll hear about conscious presence. You'll hear about love. You'll hear about painting techniques, everything. But go back and listen to them. But what I wanted to tell you about Tina that was so wonderful, she's in Australia and she's an artist. The fact that she drew something for the story. And so it gave me an idea. Tina is an illustrator. She does cartoon books, coloring books. They're wonderful with wonderful creatures in it. And she drew a picture already for one of my stories about walking with fear. Wasn't that a great chapter? I wrote that while processing this emotion that I've been going through this year, about how sometimes we just have to walk alongside fear. But she drew this wonderful drawing. So I'm asking all my listeners to draw while I read the story. And when I say draw, it doesn't have to be figurative. It can be representational. I have interviewed some wonderful mandala artists this year. I've talked to some people that do word puzzles. But each page, I'm going to create a coloring book that features you. If you get selected, your drawing gets selected, it will feature you, and I will put it and publish it so people can buy the coloring book with my parable book and follow along with your image. So I'm going to do a separate video that talks about that more. It will come out early in January, talking about my 40-day daily doodle book challenge, where you're going to draw something, a coloring sheet. You're going to use a black ink. I'll tell you more about that, but just put that in your head. Start thinking about it. Ooh, maybe I should order that book, Spiritual Parable. Maybe I should be ready for January. Start the year off right. Start the year off with a little bit of contemplative thought every morning. So, yeah, I didn't lay something too heavy on you about these thoughts of who I am, because we all deal with it. And in America here, especially, we're taught not to ever talk about this. But it's all part of it, right? It's all part of our spiritual journey. So I want you to go out there and practice being that sense of loving presence for those in your life, being patient with those that are struggling with illness, health, whatever it may be, aging, youth. Some people struggle with youth. We all did, right? So anyway, I want to ask you to go out there and be a spiritual artist. And I thank you again for listening to The Spiritual Artist on the Spiritual Artist podcast. Don't forget my book, Spiritual Artist is also The Spiritual Artist is on Amazon. It's a great gift if you've been moved by it. These are both books of mine, are great. They're on Amazon. You can order them. They're wonderful stocking stuffers. Support me, buy a book. I would really lovely appreciate it. And finally, I want to tell you, if you're an artist and you've been still debating, I should reach out to Chris. I love his message. I want to share what I do. Do it. I'm putting together my schedule for the spring, and I want to talk to people. So email me at cjmiller@spiritualartisttoday.com. Send me what you would like to talk about, some pictures of your art. I'd love to feature you, and it can be anything, any discipline, any creative discipline. So thanks again for being a spiritual artist. Have a happy holiday, and stay and step into this place of love. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks again for listening to the Spiritual Artist Podcast. Whether you're watching this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or iHeartRadio, make sure you choose the subscribe button so that you will receive updates when new segments are released. Most importantly, be still, listen, and know that you are a spiritual artist.